Welcome back. Today, there are order cancellation news, a brand new livery, and Delta expecting a tough start to 2025. Why not begin there? Delta, which is one of the largest carriers naturally in the world and based in the United States, has been forced to slash its profit forecast after it experienced weaker travel demand in the first 2 months of the year, and that is set to continue. The company says that its first quarter revenue and profit will be slashed following revised forecasting, and the general realization that conditions were far from optimal. Delta adds that revenue will rise around 5% at the most from the first quarter of 2024 to this year's first quarter, ending at the end of March. The figure of 5% does at best represent a reduction from the previously targeted 6 to 8%. The company adds that much of the reduction in overall estimates is drawn from some forecasting that didn't eventuate as planned, and actually an overall softness in your domestic demand levels. The airline confirmed this through a recently published security filing, digging deeper into its expectations right across Q1 and factors such as customer confidence, which has reduced in recent months for a wide array of reasons. Delta is aware that the last few months right across the United States have been bumpy, curveballs have been thrown, and there have been many concerns that have been put forward on a public stage, and people therefore react to that in a swift manner due to the uncertain nature of the world, and especially within the country that Delta calls home. Customers from leisure and business demographics have reduced their bookings. Ed Bastian confirmed this when speaking with CNBC, citing the unknowns that the economy has presented, among other things. While factors such as customer confidence due to political tensions can lead to drops, this will never be the sole reason. Bastian also said that they really felt the effects of the recent incidents that have taken place across North America, which has led to a reduction in booking. Remember, it was a tough start to 2025, with some major incidents leading to deaths and other ones where people got off injury-free, but certainly were scary and broadcasted right around the world. Ultimately, the shift in Delta's forecasting and the lack of customer confidence have not been a shock considering the state of the world, but the performance metrics are maybe more surprising than, say, that of other industries. For example, when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, was the aviation industry hurt and bruised? Absolutely. However, very quickly people flocked back to travel, and it was far quicker than most industry analysts and even airlines expected, causing struggles to keep up with the said demand. While other industries around the world struggled quite severely, the aviation sector didn't feel those same effects. Yes, limitations did exist, and there were constraints placed on some aspects of each business, certainly visible in the supply chain, but mostly those limitations were not driven by passengers, rather complications elsewhere. But now, Delta is being forced to revise its forecasting based on customer trends, which will see profits and revenue not grow at the rate first expected. Over to Korean Air, who have announced a brand refresh for the first time since the 1980s, marking the commencement of a new era. The long-rumored livery redesign and brand refresh will see Korean Air attempt to align itself with other global competitors and elevate the brand to new heights. The revised livery at its core looks to stick with what people know and love about the previous branding, which has been present for so long, but it does incorporate several refreshes. Korean Air's most significant change is in its iconic symbol on the tail, which has been modernized and freshened up to a more contemporary aesthetic. Previously led by a more bold red and blue color scheme, it's now undergone a refresh to really a standalone color and transparent background. So as a result, these changes have dramatically reduced the overall noticeability on the tail, and even to things such as their website. The Seoul-based carrier firmly believes the new livery will better align itself with current modern trends, and the key takeaway from all of this is how the brand is focusing more on minimalism. Korean Air will still keep the iconic blue scheme across its livery, however it is incorporating and running with a darker blue title and logo marks spread across the front of the aircraft, engine and tail. The underbelly will remain white with the engines. The new livery debuted on the 787-10 with the aircraft entering service on March 12 of this year between Seoul and Tokyo. Given that the rebranding has been unveiled, you can expect further announcements about the airline's image and the implementation across airports and on aircraft. I very rarely share my thoughts here on the channel channel. I just feel like I don't have an opinion worthy of actually sharing, and I like to just try and keep this factual as much as possible. I know also the vast majority really couldn't care at all what I think, but in this case, I just thought I'd share that I'm not really the biggest fan. You may actually see some similarities between this and a leak on the brand redesign that I think came out before the global pandemic, but don't quote me on that, but was then really kind of ignored. It's back now. I personally really did enjoy the Korean Air previous livery. Could it have done with a refresh? Maybe. Is this the refresh I would have liked to have seen? No, not necessarily. It does feel very bland, and at first glance, it maybe more gives me the impression of a leased aircraft rather than a full livery. But maybe it will grow on me in time, and when I see it in person, my opinions may change. Very much keen to hear your take though down below in the comments. And just to conclude, the main reason all of this is taking place, no doubt, driven by Korean Air acquiring Asiana Airlines. They feel now is the absolute perfect time to really revise the brand and chart a course for the future, which focuses heavily on streamlining and becoming an even bigger player in your global aviation sector. Over to the final story, and Air France-KLM has reduced orders for the A350 freighter, and this comes pretty quickly after a recent delay was confirmed to the program. The group stated that a number of aircraft it has ordered for the freighter jet will reduce, with now just 6 freighters to be taken on by the company instead of the previously ordered 8. As for the split of these aircraft, well, the group confirmed that 3 will head to the Air France cargo division, while the other 3 will head to the closely tied to KLM Martinair, who are also looking to overhaul their fleet. CH Aviation confirmed the report, speaking with an airline spokesperson. It reaffirmed that the order cancellation follows the news that the A350F program will see a delay in the entry into service. Fleet renewal adjustments are far from uncommon. Airlines and freight operators alike are forced to plan years ahead. So much can change between their older date replacement and eventual delivery date based on an airline's position or economic conditions. So as a result, these companies will have means to adjust their orders, either by reducing their commitment or extending it with options in the initial contract being activated to really help meet demand. Air France-KLM for the moment sees 6 units as a well-rounded number to really split the commitments right down the middle, destined for different freight brands within the group. These A350s will be important in replacing some of your older generation freight planes across the group with jets such as the 777-200F and the 747-400F on the way out. Despite the cancellation to the A350 order, the group has not reduced its overall commitment to Airbus aircraft. Instead, it's actually opting to select 2 of your A350 passenger planes to effectively replace this. It is fascinating for me, to say the least. It is a bit of a reaction to delays in a program. We have seen it time and time again, but it shows that sometimes frustrations are real and sometimes the impact is clear, and airlines or freight operators in this case need to make decisions that are for the benefit of their own business. And in this case, they're immediately reacting to the delays and Airbus being unable to stick to the time frame that they had first put forward. Keen to hear your take on the stories in today's aviation recap. Thank you very much for your support here on the channel. Take care, do be safe, and I'll see you tomorrow.
And we'll fly.